guy here. It's a book I wrote during the pandemic. This is the book right here. And before I had a beard. And it's also the framing of the outside of the show as well. So of the borders. Good morning to you. I hope all is well. And today, of course, is going to be, well, if you don't know me, my name is John Register. I'm a two-time Paralympic athlete. And I wrote this book for our Paralympic ambassadors, our U.S. ambassadors. And it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I just wanted to give them 10 stories that they could use to share with their groups to increase their leadership capacity. So that is what that's what we kind of did, and it was fantastic. We had a great time doing it, and I want to give shouts out to the team that really helped me put it together. We're in the last chapter of the book, so it's chapter number 10. Chapter number 10 is a hard yes versus an easy no. A hard yes versus an easy no. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to put a little thing here. Join me. Boom, right there we go. I put join no. Oh, it's join me. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. So here's what I mean by this. This was something that came up for my daughter and I, and it's amazing story. And sometimes what happens in life is we say no so quickly that we don't get to the great stuff, the rich stuff, the amazing things that happen if you just say yes. And sometimes saying yes is difficult. I get it. You know, I've had to say no on several occasions, but it's not because we didn't try to get to a yes. Sometimes you hear in life, you know, as parents, some to their children, no, and they say why? Because I said so. Well, this story is really about how we got to this amazing adventure that I never knew was going to happen because we just said yes. So here's the backstory of the story, and then I'm going to give you about 5 innovative ways or ways to think about this in leadership. And if you get the book, the 10 Power Stories right here, it's right there as well. You have exercise that you can do at the end of each chapter so that you can have, you know, 10 of your own stories. And I'm going to go back and pick up chapter number 9 next week because I totally forgot to get up last Sunday morning and do it. So that's another great story as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. All right, so let's dive in here because I'm only on for like 15 minutes. And again, we're talking about this last chapter here and all this perspective on chapter number 10. And that chapter number 10, of course, is a hard yes versus an easy no. Here's what happened. My wife became a flight attendant in about maybe 2007, I think. And she did it to spite me. What do I mean? She does it to spite me because I'm traveling, working my job, and I'm traveling the country, like all over. I'm at Walter Reed one week. I'm at Brooke Army Medical Center the same week, and then I'm over in San Diego at Balboa Medical Hospital, Navy Hospital in California, San Diego. And then I would come back, I'd reshuffle the deck, and then go back out. I was working with wounded, ill, and injured service members using sport to get them back to a healthy and active lifestyle. Because I'm crushing it, you know, I'm just going. I'm an entrepreneur. I am having trouble at home. As Alice doesn't like this, she wants to be back home. So she says, I'm going to become a flight attendant. It wasn't that she wanted to become a flight attendant. She just wanted me to say I was going to come back home. So I say to her, because of all the arguments that we're having, go you. That was the wrong thing to say, fellas. Wrong thing to say. So now she couldn't back out of it. So she had to do it. She had to go through with it. And at the end of it, she becomes a flight attendant for ExpressJet Airlines. It's no longer flying, but ExpressJet, and we're having this amazing time. This amazing world has opened up to us that we had knew nothing about. I'm a passenger, usually just flying from place to place. I don't really see the back end of things, nor was I even looking for the back end. But now with Alice, this whole world is opening up. So she's low person on the totem pole, and she's gonna have to work over Christmas, and she has to work over my daughter's birthday. So as my daughter and I, Ashley, were sitting uh, eating ramen noodles one night because that's all I knew how to cook at the time. Al was out flying. My son John Jr. was playing basketball in San Diego at a college, and so it's going to be just me and her. And I asked her what she wanted to do for her birthday, and she says, "I want to go to Paris." I was like, "What, Kentucky?" No, it's actually Paris, France. Without skipping a beat, without just still shoving noodles in her mouth. That's what she says. And so I don't say no right away. I was like, there's no way we can get to Paris. I'm working like a finite job. I can't get any extra income or we're within inside of like a 3-week window. There's no possible way. So I go downstairs, I research on my computer. It's gonna cost me about $3,500 a ticket at this time. I don't have $3,500 of $7,000 for that. And then I have to figure out a hotel and I got to get her passport. All these things were against me. So I call Alice, who's on the trip, and I say, your daughter says she wants to go to Paris. Is there any way that your airline flies there? I know it's a small commuter plane, but do you code share with anybody else? And she says, I don't know. So she calls her supervisor. Supervisor calls her back. She says, oh yeah, Continental Airlines, the old Continental that merged with United. They fly from Houston to Paris, and you can get on there for the cost of the tax because I can fly on my wife's benefit. So now that lowered us down to like, I think it was like 119 bucks, like $120 for the taxes to get to Paris. But I don't have a passport. So next thing I said was, how do I get a passport? Can I get her a passport? Because we're inside of 3 weeks, and there's no way I'm going to get a passport from Washington D.C. back. And Alice calls her supervisor. Supervisor calls her back. If you have an itinerary, you can go to the passport agency in Denver, and they can do a same day passport. I never even heard of such a thing. So I do that. We get all the paperwork ready. We get an appointment. We go up to Denver at 8 o'clock in the morning. By 12 o'clock, Ash has a passport. I need a place to stay. Well, I've been with a certain hotel chain, flying around and staying in overnights in these hotels. I had amassed a lot of points, but I never really knew how to use these points. My supervisor said, start collecting points. So I had enough points to stay at a property right by the Eiffel Tower for 3 nights, and then 5 nights at another property out in by the airport. So I had to have all my nights covered, and that means I also have at least 2 meals covered because they give you breakfast in the morning when you're in Europe, and then if you have the fruits, the nice fruits they have, uh, you put them in your bag. Now you got lunch. It's all you really have to do it when you come back home is get some dinner. So we got all that taken care of. Now I need to get around Paris, and we get a rail pass, which costs about as much as the passport. Well, it's about $500 now, and we want to go around. We want to have a nice time to go visit some museums. We find out all the museums for a person with a disability are free, and you can get to take an attendant with you. So Ash and I did the Louvre, we did Versailles, we were all over the place. The only thing that we had to pay for was the Eiffel Tower. And instead of taking the elevator up, we walked up the steps. It was amazing experience. And then the final night was her birthday. I hadn't had a really great experience in Paris, not a lot with like in restaurants and things. Uh, so I asked our concierge, is there a restaurant that would, do a great job with a young girl for her 11th birthday? And he gave us a place. It was absolutely lights out. One of the best places, not just because the food was excellent, because they treated my daughter like a queen. It was rock star amazing. It was really good. So I really had a fantastic time over there, and she had even a better time. And that's all because of this hard yes versus an easy no. I think I spent less than $1,000 on that trip for a week, 5 days. Incredible. I still pinch myself right now. And we have this amazing experience that we've had together as father daughter. So, what are some of the things that come from a hard yes versus an easy no? And then if we flip this story into the business realm now, I think the first thing is innovation and creativity. A hard yes often pushes teams to think outside the box, or it leads to more innovative solutions. Most of the time, when we are having some type of um, we got to think a little bit for a decision that's coming up or a new product launch. We get to the first or second thoughts around what we can do, but we don't press ourselves harder for more and more solutions. When I work with some businesses and some companies during my keynote speeches to talk about innovation and to think of how we get our brains flowing more, there's an activity I do which causes us um, to come up with more solutions to do things faster. And this activity has some like these bean bags I have, and you have to pass the bean bag around the circle in the same sequence from one to the other, one to the next. And as you do this, I ask the next round to go faster, and they pass the bean bag faster. And then I ask them, I think you can do faster than that. And then they tighten the circle and they put in the same sequence as well, and they go faster, even faster still. So that's three solutions. But then I say, say that thing takes 5 seconds to get around. I say the fastest team has done it in under 1 second. And you should see them saying, "What? There's no pot, there's no way." And then they start becoming even more innovative on how they can get that beanbag around the circle extremely fast. They look at it from different angles. Does it have to be in a circle? Does it have to? Can we do it differently? Can we all run past it? All these things, they begin to become more innovative in the way they think. So, a hard yes versus an easy no, people become more innovative. I think the second thing is around improving team dynamics. So that's one where facing challenges together, it can strengthen the cohesion. So when they're trying to get that beanbag moving, it's tightening their cohesion, their team cohesion. So the next time they come up against a problem, they're more quickly to look at a lot of different solutions for that problem. It also enhances their resilience, the resilience of both the individual and organizations. Learning to navigate through uncertainty and difficulty builds a robustness that makes future challenges even more manageable. So that's the next one. And then I think it also gives people the competitive advantage because their competitors often aren't looking to the 10th, the 20th ways to solve a problem. They're only going to that binary choice. It's either going one thing or another. The Jason Saul wrote a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but I think it's called A Third Way or Third something. And he gets outside these binary choices. He tells a story about himself speaking, a professional speaker, going to London a lot from Chicago. He didn't want to buy the first class ticket because that was too expensive, but he also didn't want to be in coach because then he got there, he was tired, he was not really, just didn't feel great. It wasn't at his best. So what did he do? He bought 3 coach tickets. And then so he gets 3 meals, he can lay out, he's got more rooms than the first class seats, and he can lay out, stretch out, and get plenty of good rest. So I thought that was a brilliant way to look at the third way, another solution that we can do. And I think the inspirational leadership does exactly that. And then finally, it gives long-term rewards. The long-term rewards for myself was with my daughter, Ashley, and we still talk about that to this day. She doesn't remember asking that question while she was eating ramen noodles, but I do because that's what started the whole ball rolling. So put this in the context of inspirational leadership. Inspirational leadership is people who lead kind of through empathy and understanding where someone else is. It doesn't mean that they're soft or they are um, indecisive. In fact, they're more decisive, I think, in my opinion, because they understand that inspiration is to breathe into. So they're breathing into the organization, they're breathing into their people. And in that situation of breathing into people, they're getting tremendous results on the other side of it. So that is the story of a hard yes versus an easy no. Hard yes versus an easy no. The next week, our chapter is going to be, I'm going back to chapter number 9, which is the church, the creek, and the kid. It's another uh, amazing story. And I wanted to make sure I get to this because uh, like last week I totally forgot to get up. I totally forgot I was doing this thing I gave myself this to do. So we're going to just clean that up. We're going to get that one. We have all other 9 stories that should be up as well, and you can get that. Um, if you're following me, you should get this newsletter. This newsletter is called. Let me see if I can get this one on here. Is called Forward Friday. Forward Friday is an interesting concept. I do it in 3-2-1 concept or format. So it's 3 insights that I have from the previous week, 2 people to follow, and then 1 insightful action for you to do for the next week. And then we give you all the other stuff where I'm going to be and some things around the country. All right. So pick up that. If you go to my website, johnregister.com/newsletter, you should be able to sign up for it right there. And that will be it for us on today. I just wanted to share with you that we were also on the Amazing Americans podcast with Kate Delaney. That was a great podcast we had this past week. So you can get that just find on any podcast channels, Amazing Americans, and we were on that podcast. So go out there and get that also. All right. So have a great day. Continue to inspire your world. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.